Good morning, East West Health. Let me start my video here. Good morning. Happy fall. It's Erin Kay, health coach up in Park City, the East West Health up in Park City. Reagan is traveling today, learning new things, how to help our patients better, and to help our providers learn more, and to do more research. So I am here with you today, and I'm going to talk about the East-West diet, so a low inflammation diet, and I'm going to go through a PowerPoint this morning. We do offer this class in most of our clinics, I believe, and we are wanting to teach you the why behind what we're telling you or suggesting to eat. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute and go through a PowerPoint of the big 5 to stay away from: corn, soy, dairy, sugar, and gluten. So we will talk about those big 5, the whys, and then I'll give you some alternatives and we'll talk about some things. And I've got a bunch of my stuff from my pantry that I'm going to show you as well today. So let me make sure all the technology is up to speed here, and I will share my screen. All right, so I'm going to present here, and let me see if I can see you guys. Looks like there's 6 of us on here. Awesome. And I'll say hello to my 4 or 5. That looks like 5 people are on. So welcome. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'll go back to the video here so we can chat. I started my journey back in about 2011. So this is kind of my story that I want to share with you real quick, and then we'll jump into the anti-inflammatory diet that we recommend for a lot of our patients. And if you're just jumping on, my name's Erin Kay. I'm the health coach up here in Park City, and I'm going to talk to you about anti-inflammatory foods today, the big 5. But my story started back in 2011 when I just was not feeling myself. I was mentally and physically exhausted. I was a 2nd grade teacher. Loved my job, but very tiring and taxing. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing an exercise routine. I was eating crappy. I was addicted to Starbucks, the big old white chocolate mochas and the banana chocolate bread. And that would be like all I would eat all day. My kids always joke that the room always smelled like coffee. So I was not taking care of myself. I had no self-care. I was staying up late, getting up early, and I ran myself down. Plus I was going through a lot of like personal stress at the time with something, and I burned out my thyroid. When I went to the doctor, I just wasn't feeling myself, like I said, and did the blood test, and hypothyroidism. And I burned out my thyroid, basically, is what they told me. Here's a pill, take it every day and have a good one. So I really had to step back and go, I was a college athlete. I played soccer in college. Like, I'm healthy, but obviously I wasn't. I was doing something not right to get to that place. So I had to look at what I was putting in my body and what I was doing to my body. So that's my story and my journey. And I started to get into CrossFit and paleo. That's kind of where I started. Back then it was the thing. Loved that. Then I got into yoga and meditation and breathing. And it's a journey. You learn things along the way and you incorporate them into your lifestyle and they become habits. And that's what I am here for as a health coach, is to help you do that, because I've been there. So today I'm going to talk to you about the anti-inflammatory diet. So I'm going to share my screen here and go through the PowerPoint. So I'll try to see if you have questions every once in a while. And I've got some cool things to show you from my pantry. So I'm not just going to tell you what not to eat. I'll give you alternatives and show you realistic things that you can eat. So I'm going to stop my video here and go to my screen. Okay. All right, bear with me. Okay, so I've got my screen here. I hope you can see it. East-West diet. All right. So the why. What goals do you have? Why did you come to East West Health? That's what I want you to always keep in mind. Is that's your why. That's your motivation. Why did you come to East West Health? For stem cells or for thyroid or gut health, or you weren't feeling yourself like me back then. Maybe weight gain, weight loss, digestion, so many different things. But why did you come? What's your why? My why back then was I wanted to change the way that I lived. I knew I had to get healthy. And I wanted to get off my thyroid medication, which is still a journey because I had a baby and that just went all the heck. So still working on that, but it's a journey, and meet yourself where you're at right now. But always remember your why. Okay? The motivation. People sometimes tell me I wanted to get my life back. I wanted no more joint pain. I wanted my brain fog to be gone. I wanted to play with my kids more. So that's your why. Always remember that in the back of your mind, so that when things get tough or you don't want to get up and do that workout in the morning, you're going, remember my why. Okay, that's really important. Now, why do I want to share this information with you this morning? Well, we want to give you the best results possible with anything that you're doing with East West Health and get you healthy. We want to decrease your inflammation. That's where so many of our diseases start. Is with chronic inflammation. We're going to talk about chronic and acute in just a second. We want to give your stem cells their best chance of growth and regeneration if you've gotten stem cell therapy with us. We want to help you reach a level of sustainability with your nutrition. We want to make it a lifestyle, not just a 6-month thing that you do with us or a 4-month thing. All right, so let's talk about what is inflammation. All right. Inflammation is our immune system's natural response, all right, to anything that's like affecting us, injury or an infection or disease or, a cold. So there's 2 types. There's acute and there's chronic, okay? Acute is necessary. It helps our body repair itself, all right? My example is I twisted my ankle a couple Halloweens ago, and it swelled up. Couldn't walk for 2 or 3 days. And then the swelling went down. I was able to get back to doing what I wanted to do. That's our body helping it heal. It's going to swell and then it subsides. That's acute. Now, chronic is not necessary. It's activated by our food, our environment, stressors. It doesn't subside. It continues to build and build and build. And then that's when the damage is occurring internally and we don't see it, and it can lead to disease. All right, so down there, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, insulin resistance, high blood sugar, leaky gut, joint pain, brain fog, all the things that you might be coming to us for. One of the things might be in there that you're wanting to address. We need to address the chronic inflammation. Okay, that's inflammation that we don't see, and that's scary because we want to address that before it gets too bad, before it gets to a disease that we can't manage. All right. So that's what we're trying to avoid with these foods that we want to avoid. So what are those foods? Okay. They're the big 5, like I've said. Let me just check and make sure there's no questions or anything right now. Okay, we're good. All right. If you have a question, I'll try to watch so you can pop in. Okay. All right, let's go back to our thing here. Okay, so big 5: gluten, dairy, sugar, corn, soy. All right. So gluten, wheat, barley, rye, couscous, wheat germ. All right, we're going to talk about all of these in depth. So I'm just kind of giving you words that you might know or see on labels. Dairy, any milk products, okay? Cheese, milk, sour cream, ice cream, comes from the cow, all right? But dairy can also be from a sheep or a goat. Some of us are sensitive or completely intolerant to sheep or goat as well. So remember, they're an animal too that can produce some of these cheeses and ice creams and milks, all right? Sugar. anything refined, white or brown sugar, agave nectar, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners. All right. Oh, those are neurological disorders, or I'm sorry, neurological toxins. Those are, get those out of your diet. Okay. We'll talk about those a little bit more on the sugar slide. Corn. So specifically looking at corn syrup, okay, like that high fructose corn syrup, corn starch, canola oil, vegetable oil. Now, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but a corn on the cob, you know, every once in a while, they're fresh. They were in the summer and all those roadside stands and great at barbecues. Of course, you know, every once in a while, that's great. Going into the fall now, not so much anymore, but we're really looking at the corn syrups and the corn starch, the cheap products that are in our foods that our body is not processing. Soy is the last one. So soy lecithin, soy sauce, soybean oil. All right. Let's get into gluten. All right. So gluten is the protein in wheat. Okay. It can produce pro-inflammatory cytokines. The ATIs in gluten, the amylase trypsin inhibitors, can provoke an inflammatory immune response in the GI tract. And we don't see this going on, but we might have symptoms like that next point says, you know, there's symptoms that sometimes arise, you know, GI issues, bloating, gas, bowel issues, okay, brain fog, joint pain, skin issues. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about my skin issues. Back on my journey, I was getting horrible like rashes and itching. My thing was really big itching, but I thought they were rashes. I changed soaps and detergents, all that. But when I finally took gluten and dairy, but we'll talk about that in a minute, out of my diet, I noticed a huge change in my itching. It went away. It wasn't there anymore. So things that you don't think that might be producing some symptoms, look at what you're putting in your body. Okay. Now some alternatives, rice, okay, wild rice, brown rice, gluten-free oats. Bob's Red Mill is a great product for that, for gluten-free oats. Quinoa, I have some of that here. I'll show you in my mason jar. I've gluten-free flours. I have coconut flour, almond flour in my pantry at all times. I even have like an all-purpose gluten-free flour that I use or I have on hand if I need it in baking or something like that. So have those in your pantry. Have them available to you. Look for recipes that you're going to like with almond flour and coconut flour. It is a little bit different measurements. So research that. Look into that. Start cooking with it. All right. So gluten, you can avoid it. Avoid those pastas, those breads. All right. If you're going to do bread, do a mean, awesome piece of sourdough bread. All right. And then move on to the next thing. Don't fret about it, but try to get gluten out of your diet as much as possible and see the benefits. I can't wait to hear some of your benefits from taking gluten and dairy out of your diet. Those are the big ones, and sugar, of course, but we'll get to those in a minute. So alternatives, okay? You have some alternatives. Like corn tortillas. If you like tacos, use lettuce wraps. Okay, we do that all the time at our house. We'll have shrimp tacos and we'll have it in a big bib lettuce or a big Swiss chard lettuce wrap. Okay, so you can do things like that. You can have tunas and stuff like that without the bread, or sandwiches without the bread. Use cucumbers. I know it sounds a little weird, but those can be your bun. All right. So there are ways to do that. And that's what we can help with at East West Health is what are alternatives? What can I really make realistic changes? All right. Let's see if we have anything for questions or anything like that before we move on to, oh gosh, my screen is gone. Sorry, friends. Okay. Sorry about this. Just a second. My computer is not wanting to cooperate here. Okay. Okay, let me get back on here. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I must have pressed a button while I was trying to. Okay, I'm going to stop the share for a second, get back to our PowerPoint. I'm just going to keep going through it here, okay? All right. Almost back there. Thank you for your patience. Getting to see all of our cool stuff here. Okay. All right. Okay. Think we're back here. Okay, I'm going to make sure that we can share this screen here. I'm still here. I'm sorry. All right, I think you can see me right here. So trying to get the screen to launch. So, okay. Can you guys see me right now? I'm so sorry. Oh, share screen. Okay, here we go. All right. So sorry about that. We're going to stop the video, go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. All right, so dairy. Okay. Now, dairy, some people can have sensitivity to the lactose in the sugar in milk. The casein is the protein found in milk or cheese. So those are the big two things that a lot of people have a reaction to or a sensitivity to, or can just be inflammatory in our bodies and building that chronic inflammation over time. So if you do have some outward signs or symptoms, you might have, just like gluten, bloating or constipation or diarrhea or gas or things on your skin like acne. Mucus and sinus issues is a huge thing too. You might have heard like dairy can produce mucus or, like phlegm. So you don't really drink dairy when you're sick. That dairy can really, really cause some huge issues with sinus infections as well. That's where my big thing with dairy was. Helped my thyroid immensely when I got off dairy. That was the biggest thing I saw right away. And I had a lot of sinus infections, a lot, back before my journey started. And I always thought just, oh, I have sinus infections, but no, it was the dairy for me. Could be the gluten as well, but I really noticed it with dairy. So the big thing with dairy is the conventional dairy cows and their living conditions, the antibiotic use because they're so closely living that they're cramped and they're all sick. They can get each other sick really easily. So they pump them up with antibiotics or growth hormones to make them bigger, fatter, more meat, more milk. And that's going into our bodies. So that's why when we tell you organic whole milk or switch to almond milk or coconut milk, this is why we have to look at realistic what's going on in our factory farms right now. And that goes with chickens and beef and eggs too. So some alternatives are the nut milks, like I said, almond and coconut, and oat and cashew. Oat, I heard, is really good. Cashew milk's really creamy and delicious. I have some almond milk here. I'll show you at the end. And if you don't know where to start, just start with an organic product and start it and try it and just do it. And then you can kind of find your favorites and do a little bit more research. Ask us here at East West what we use. If you want to do cheese but not do cow milk, then Daya or Miyoko, yeah, cheese. I've seen it at Whole Foods and Smith's now. So it is an almond cheese. So check it out. And even Kite Hill cream cheese. I believe that one's almond as well. I saw those at Smith's and Whole Foods. So those are some good alternatives out there. Try, some people really like coconut and some people really like almond. It's good fat, oat, and cashew. Check them out. Okay. And they have so many other different kinds too right now, like pea milk, PEA. Let's see, what else have I seen out there? There's mixes like almond and coconut milks. So check it out and see what your favorites are, but limit dairy as much as possible. Our bodies really don't need cow milk to survive. We're the only mammals that drink another mammal's milk. So that's kind of an interesting thought. We nurse off our mothers, babies nurse off human mothers, and then we don't need cow milk in our diet on a daily basis. All right. Yeah, whole milk is good fat, but they've really, in like the government and the USDA have really pushed it to be, calcium, and you need it in your diet. And there's so many other things that you can do with vegetables and fruits and grains that are good for our bodies. So limit the dairy as much as possible and see if some of these signs and symptoms or some joint pain goes away or lessens. All right, let's talk about our next big five, sugar. Okay. Sugar. Yes, we hear it all the time. Sugar is a huge cause of chronic low-grade inflammation. Okay. So many of our diseases stem from an overabundance of sugar in the diet. All right. We eat so much more sugar than we did 30, 50 years ago. It's in all of our food supply practically. You have to read your labels to know. And it's, you got to know about it, and you've got to look at your labels. So causes chronic low-grade inflammation, which can lead to things that we talked about: heart disease, diabetes, cancer, weight gain, leaky gut. So look for sugar in like flours and baked goods and processed and packaged foods. That's where the sugar is hiding under many different names. All right. So talk to your health coach about label reading. Go to the grocery shopping classes that East West has, and we'll help you out with that. So some alternatives. So stick to low glycemic index sugars in moderation. So coconut sugar, I have some here. I'll show you. Coconut palm sugar, pure maple syrup. Find a grade A maple syrup. And it's not like we use syrup a ton. So spend a little money on it, have it in the pantry or the fridge, and use that for a little bit of a sweetener. Raw honey, local raw honey. I have some of that here too that I will show you. Stevia. Okay, Nicole here at our Park City office loves a little bit of stevia here and there. That's her go-to. It is very sweet, so you don't have to use a lot of that. And fructose. Okay, that's the nature sugar. That's fruit from sugar. And or sugar from fruit, actually. I should edit that. So those are okay in small amounts, and we do tell you to eat more of your fruit at night so it doesn't raise your cortisol level up as high. In the morning you're higher, so if you have a lot of fruit in the morning, you're going to shoot up your cortisol even more. At night your cortisol is at the lowest, so eating a little bit of fruit at night is better than in the morning. And we can talk to you about that in a health coaching session or ask one of your providers, okay? And I think somebody asked about agave nectar. And that one, it's kind of one of those that is in the middle, if it's a higher glycemic or a lower glycemic. So let's look at the glycemic index when we get to the end here, and we'll talk about agave nectar a little bit more, okay? Next one, corn. All right, corn. Corn and soy, very similar to, now they are very genetically modified and crossbred. So it has a similar makeup to gluten and is often recognized within the body as that. So corn is a very high glycemic vegetable as well. So meaning it can easily be converted into sugar. And food that is like that increases insulin production and inflammation. So you want to keep those high glycemic vegetables down to a low as well. And corn is one of those. So alternatives, some kind of different alternatives here. There's siete cassava or tortillas and tortilla chips. Real, that's the brand, coconut wraps. Or my favorite, plantain chips. It's a great alternative to like a corn chip or a tortilla chip. So check some stuff out that is a little different. We have plantain chips up here in the office, the Park City office, and we love them to give them out as little snacks. Let's see, popcorn. Just not really something that we need in our diet. And there's so many other snacks and treats that we could have that don't have the corn. So try to cut this out as much as you can from your diet. You don't need corn tortillas, use a wrap, so much more fun. You can try the real coconut wraps made out of coconut flour. So check those out. And check out the siete cassava tortillas made out of the cassava root. So check those out and just know that corn is very genetically modified. It's very cheap to make now. And that's why we're feeding our cows and our chickens with it. And they are being bulked up on that. It's in a lot of our food supply. Corn syrup, you see it all the time. High fructose corn syrup, soy, or not soybean oil, we'll talk about that one in a minute, but canola oil, vegetable oil, so many other good oils out there that are good fats and better to use. All right, so corn is your number 4 here, no order, but that's the 4th one that we've talked about. Soy, all right, last one, very much like the corn, is genetically modified, it's easy to make. Soy is also packed with goitrogens. That can interfere with thyroid function and can lead to goiters or hypo. It's often genetically modified, like I said. And this one contains phytates. They don't help our body absorb. And lectins, which can lead to leaky gut. And it has a protease inhibitor, making it difficult to digest protein. So soy is it's doing a lot of different things in our body that we don't need it to be doing for our gut, especially. It's not helping us absorb minerals. It's not helping us digest proteins. It can lead to leaky gut because of those lectins in the soy. So soy milk, not the greatest thing. Try almond or coconut, much better alternative. All right, and there's chickpea miso out there. Okay, instead of miso soup or miso flavorings that are made with soy, chickpea is made from the garbanzo bean or the chickpea. So there's chickpea miso, there's coconut aminos. I will show you that. Organic coconut liquid aminos. It's a great alternative to soy sauce. Tastes pretty similar, but it's made with water, organic coconut nectar, and organic apple cider vinegar. So I will show all these cool things to you. Don't you worry. And soy was something that I had to really look at too. I didn't really understand that it could disrupt my thyroid function. So I really I was drinking soy there for a second, and then I totally cut that out. So there is a health benefit for that as well with your thyroid. You don't want those goitrogens to interfere with that. Now on the goitrogen subject too, with cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, any of the cruciferous vegetables, so cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, those can have goitrogenic properties to them as well. And that's why we say cook those cruciferous vegetables a little bit, because that cooks off the goitrogens. So lightly steaming or a quick blanch on some of those cruciferous vegetables will make them easier to digest and not mess with our thyroid. So The big five, all right? Lessen them in the diet as much as possible. I'm not going to tell you to never eat them again, but it is all about 90-10, 80-20. If you can lessen them in your diet as much as you can, I promise you, you will see health benefits. So what is there to eat? I know some of you are maybe asking yourself that right now, okay? So I want to tell you, first, don't count calories, okay? Eating encourages better metabolism, so consuming less actually tells your body to store more. Think of our prehistoric, our ancestors. They had to, when they consumed less, that was telling your body to store more because they didn't know when the next time they were going to eat. So we're still humans and we have that in our genes still. So eat often, okay? But it's not about what you're eating. It is about what you're eating, but it's also about when you're eating too. And I know you've heard us talk about time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting. So you must eat regularly, but you do want to have those breaks, that fast. And it is about what you eat. So make good choices, but it is about when you eat as well. So always remember time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting. Ask your health coach or ask your provider. Reagan's done some talks on time-restricted eating as well. So go back to our YouTube channel, look at East West Health, and I know you can find some videos on time-restricted eating. So what do you eat? Veggies, 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 veggies. All right. Every meal. That's going to be my action step for you. Veggies at every meal. Okay. Yes. Breakfast. You can do it. Handful of spinach in your smoothie. Eggs and veggies. Omelets. Little hash brown type of scrambles or just get in veggies wherever you can. Okay, my favorite breakfast is 2 eggs with butter, like cooked in butter, grass-fed butter, of course, and sauerkraut, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, and half of an avocado for good fat, and then kale, lightly kind of sauteed up in some whatever oil I'm feeling like, coconut oil or olive oil or butter, usually like in the morning. I really feel like that with some spices. Best breakfast ever. Now, if you don't have time, think of how you can get make little egg muffins on a Sunday, on a prep day, and have them for all week. You can put as many vegetables as you want in there, or make smoothies ahead of time with kale or spinach or some greens in there, or greens powder. Veggies at every meal. Okay, snacking, lunch, and then dinner should be, maybe a little bit of good quality meat and some veggies on the whole plate. You want so many veggies, okay? I know you can do it. We'll give you some tips. Ask your health coach how to do that, okay? Now, fats and fermented foods. I talked about those just a second ago in my favorite breakfast. So fats on the side there boost brain function, boost energy, and keep you full longer. So eat those in the morning and the afternoon. Butter, avocado oil, olives, nuts and seeds, salmon. Get those in your diet, okay? You can have salmon for breakfast, all right? Open up your mind a little bit to other ways to eat, okay? It's fun. Eat leftovers in the morning. Who's stopping you? Okay, now fermented foods are good for the gut. They'll help with digestion. They'll help put good bacteria in there. So kombucha, that's an alternative to soda pop. I'll show you 2 of my favorites. Sauerkraut, I've got my favorite brand here. And kimchi, that's another fermented cabbage, but it's got some other little vegetables and spices in there as well. So fermented foods, get them into the diet, all right? I eat sauerkraut in the morning. I know, I'm weird, but you can eat it at dinner if you'd like. But fats, you will not get fat by eating fat. Your body needs it. Your cells need it. Your brain needs it, okay? Protein, if you do, or animal protein, if you do animal meat, we're not anti-meat here, we're not pro-meat, we're what's good for your body and what feels good for your body. So if you do animal protein, should be organic, free of hormones and antibiotics. Look for grass-fed beef, look for cage-free, grain-free poultry or eggs, look for pasture-raised. There's so many different labels out there. So find a good like local one that you know and like, and try to get that one, or buy from your neighbors if you live somewhere that you can get eggs. That's the best thing you could do. Wild caught fish, okay, sustainably harvested seafood. I have a big bag of shrimp that I get from Whole Foods, and it's wild caught shrimp. Yes, it is a little pricey. It's about 24, 25, maybe even 30 if it's not on sale. But I get like 4 or 5 meals out of that. So think about the cost effectiveness of that. And I know it's wild caught. It's not farm raised. Look for wild caught salmon. Okay, this is where you should spend your money at the store. A little bit more on the animal products. Okay, so butter, eggs, meat, fish, beef. All right. And have, just like a palm size is a good portion to think of with animal meat. Okay. What about sugar cravings? Okay. So there's some things you can do. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites, but dark chocolate in your pantry and breaking off a little square of it here and there is not a bad thing to go to. There's worse things out there. I'd rather you have a little bar of, or a little, square of dark chocolate than a Snickers bar or a Coke. Okay. And stick to sugars that are low on the glycemic index, and they have low glycemic loads. So let's look at that. Okay. Let's see here. So look at the top there, high fructose corn syrup. All right. It's in so many of our products. My best example is ketchup. If you look at just the regular old Heinz ketchup, water's the first ingredient and then high fructose corn syrup. So gross. I mean, why do we have to have that in our ketchup? It should be tomatoes and water. So look for your labels. All right. I have an organic ketchup in the pantry or the fridge, and I spend a little bit more, maybe like $1 more on that kind of ketchup, but I have it in the pantry for whenever I want to use it. And I'm not buying the other stuff that I know is not good for my body. So other sugars you might see: maltodextrin, glucose, corn syrup, dextrin, maltose, sucrose, like table sugar. And here's where we get to a little bit of lower glycemic index: pure maple sugar, or honey, sorry, I skipped honey. Coconut sugar, ooh, I have that right here. I'm going to show you. It's like a brown sugar. Fructose, so fruit sugar. Okay, any of the sugar alcohols are going to be lower on the glycemic index. So xylitol, stevia, that natural sweetener that comes from the stevia leaf, 0 on the glycemic index. So it's a great sugar to use if you like some, sugar in your coffee, or maybe a tiny bit in like a tea, or maybe you're making something like a sorbet and you want to make it a little bit more sweeter. So that's a great one just to have around to use. Okay. Now, I want to show you my stuff here. So I'm going to stop sharing and we are going to go back to the video. Okay. Oh, great. Somebody said Trader Joe's has organic corn chips. Okay. So if you were going to take something to like a tailgating or a party, or, you wanted something to go with this great dip you just made, like a great hummus, and people wanted some chips, because you don't want to be that friend that's always bringing veggies to everything, or some crazy new recipe that you're trying, you can get organic corn chips. Thanks so much from one of our patients out there. Let me show you all my fun stuff, because this is what I love, the realistic part, okay? Ooh, beet crackers and sweet potato crackers at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is awesome. Love that store. Natural Grocers is great too. Whole Foods. Smith's has some really great products there too in their natural section aisle. So sweet potato crackers, great. We were just looking at crackers. I went to the store with a patient the other day and we were looking at crackers, and there's some cool crackers out there made with like quinoa and brown rice. And so some different things. So look for those. They're out there. They're available to you. But I promise you, when you start taking out these big five, you won't want too much more of that stuff. Like when you take it out and add things in, you're going to lessen that craving. I promise you, I've been there. Okay. Ooh, so many things from Trader Joe's. Coconut aminos. Yes. Okay. So it might be this product you're talking about, but the Bragg's coconut liquid aminos. So it's like a soy sauce. Okay. And like I said earlier, it has the water and the coconut nectar and apple cider vinegar. So great alternative to soy sauce. You could use it on veggies or in certain dishes. I know someone brings this with them to sushi places so that they don't have to have the soy sauce there. Oh, okay. So Trader Joe's has coconut aminos organic, and it's a Trader Joe's branding. All right. So maybe cheaper than the Bragg's. So that's available to you. While we're on the Bragg's, just because I have those, apple cider vinegar. Okay. Great to go in a tea. Great to go in a salad dressing that you could make your own. They have their own salad dressing too, but I like this in certain dishes when I'm cooking, or if I don't have my red wine vinegar that I like apple cider vinegar. When I'm sick, I put it in tea and honey and lemon and turmeric and cayenne pepper, and I have this in there too. And usually I'll take, like a shot of this in some water every day. Anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, great for the GI tract. Okay, kombucha. Let's talk about kombuchas. Okay, this is my all-time favorite, the GT Synergy. Okay, I have cranberry today. There's tons of different flavors. All right, GT Synergy. Or this is a Park City local company, Townshend. They have superberry, but a bunch of different other kinds. So I don't know if this is showing up backwards on you, but sorry, but this one's Townshend's. So this one, filtered water, oolong tea, has currants, elderberry, organic cane sugar. So it does have a little bit of the sugar, but organic cane sugar, a lot better than corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, or just straight white sugar. Live kombucha culture. So that's the yeast and the bacteria that is a good fermented tea for our digestion and for our bacteria. We want good bacteria in our gut. And you don't drink these every day, but maybe once a week, or when you're really craving like something different than just plain water. It's a little it's a little bubbly. So it's like a soda. Okay. Kavita has a beverage made from apple cider vinegar. Yeah, Kavita's a really good one too. Thank you so much for the good comments. Kavita's made from the apple cider vinegar. Okay, so that's another great brand that I like and I've bought before. Here's the organic coconut palm sugar that I was talking about. Okay, it's 1-to-1, just like brown sugar. So you could use this in your baking or on your top of your oatmeal, and it's not going to give you a super high blood sugar spike and then a drop. Those low glycemic sugars are going to give you more of a rounded, slow, and then a gradual drop, so that your blood sugar doesn't spike and you don't get that crash I want more. All right. On our sugar thing, Miller's raw honey. Okay, raw local honey. Great to have on hand. I'll just start showing you stuff here in no particular categories. Unsweetened almond milk. If you have a place to start, just start here. Okay. Yes, you want to look at your labels and everything, but just when people don't know what to do, just start somewhere. Simple Truth is a great brand at Smith's. You can make your own almond milk as well for a lot cheaper probably. And, but some people don't have time for that. So look for an organic. I don't like anything else like vanilla or sweetened. So I just usually go for the unsweetened. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, coconut oil. Yes. Buy a big one at Costco. Organic virgin coconut oil. Okay. I always have this on hand to cook with, bake with, makeup remover, skin lotion. Okay. Can be used for so many things. Great fat and a great oil. Okay, so have that in the pantry along with your olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed. Okay, coconut flakes are a good little sweet snack too. You can just kind of take a handful or put it with nuts and make your own little trail mix. You could put it on top of any kind of breakfast item, maybe, or just as a snack. I usually just do a snack, or I put them in my smoothies in the morning too, just for an extra fat. So great to have on hand. Buy these in the tubs at Smith's or Whole Foods or whatever, and buy in bulk and then put them in mason jars. Okay. Bubbies, sauerkraut. Okay. Great fermented cabbage. Good bacteria for the gut. Helps with digestion. It's an excellent, I love this product. Bubbies. Okay. It is like $6 or $7, but I mean, this lasts me quite a while. So, all right. For you tuna people out there, I found this great product at Smith's. It's like $2.50, wild caught tuna. It's got like citrus pepper, garlic, regular. And because I was bummed that wild caught tuna in the can is like $6, $5. This is $2.50. Wild caught, wild tuna. So great to have at the office. I just pour it into some beets and chickpeas usually, and avocado, and I love it. So organic sugar, just showing you how I like to store things. And I'll use this in baking sometimes, or my husband will use it when he wants some, and at least I know that it's organic. It's not processed. It looks a little brown almost, and that's because it's not the white refined sugar. Let's see what else I have. Nuts in like little containers, great for on the go. Walnuts, almonds. This is nutritional yeast. I wish you could smell it. It's like a little cheesy powder. Nutritional yeast. I find it in the tubs, like at Smith's, like the big bulk stuff. Great cheesy flavor. I like to put it on salads. I dump it in a smoothie. You can't even taste it. Lots of B vitamins in this. So nutritional yeast. Quinoa. Another great gluten-free grain that you can go to. Mason jar city around here, right? So quinoa. Let me show you one of my favorite things that I found while I was starting my journey, because I loved chocolate chip cookies and I wanted to make my own. These are Enjoy Life, dairy, nut, and soy-free. So I love these as an alternative. There's dark chocolate ones as well. So they give a little recipe on the back, but I've got a pretty darn good recipe for chocolate chip cookies nowadays. But dairy, nut, and soy free. So that's awesome. All right. There's things out there. And yes, I don't use this every day. I don't eat them every day. I hardly ever make cookies. But when I do, I'm going to use these. Okay. So yes, your health coach makes chocolate chip cookies. And I love them, and then I move on. Okay, let's see. I think that's all that I showed you. Let me see some things here. Yeah, coconut milk or like coconut cream or creamers. Yeah, look for almond milk creamers or coconut milk creamers. Okay, that's where you start. You just start somewhere, and then you make it your own, and you find what you like, and start with your pantry. Okay, and look at what you've got in there and start on a couple things here and there. And then you'll have a revamped pantry before you know it. Once every shopping trip, maybe just swap out something. Okay, that's your first step. All right, so any questions, comments? I went really over today, sorry, but I hope you got some good information on the Big Five, some good alternatives to things, a little bit about the why behind why we're telling you to take these things out of your diet as much as you can. All right, and meet yourself where you're at. Okay, everyone's got to start somewhere. So like I said, just start with one thing and start swapping out some things. Okay, any questions, comments? Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week. Reagan is back next week, I believe, on the Health Transformation webinar. So, I said one more comment. Trader Joe's has totally sugar-free chocolate bits, really bitter. I will love to try those. So I'm going to try those next. I'll use these up, and then sugar-free. That's awesome. Are they dairy-free and like soy-free and all those other frees too? Do you know? The sugar-free ones from Trader Joe's. That's great. Sugar-free. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for your time today. Love you, East West family. Have a good one. Bye-bye.